Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jenny. So today we're going to be working with embroidery. I'm going to go ahead and try this trend that is going around. It's been all over the place. TikTok, YouTube, you name it. So it's called the knockout stitching. And for me to be able to do this, I'm going to be using Embrilliance, specifically Stitch Artis 1. And I'm going to take you step by step on how to do this. I am not a digitizer, so we're going to be working together how to create this design, all right? So guys, let's go to the computer. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then we're going to come back to the craft room and do an embroidery to test the results, okay? So guys, let's go at it. I wanted to try this new technique that is been trending around. It's called the knockout technique. And for this, I'm going to be using Embrilliance, specifically the Stitch Artis 1 software. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find a font that I can use as a template for me to digitize a letter. In order for me to do this, I'm going to switch to create mode on the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and move the cursor to the left to go to the icon that will allow me to go to the true type font right here. I'm going to click this and a box is going to open. This box is going to allow me to choose a font that I can use for my project. I chose this font right here. It's a varsity font because it has the correct size that I want for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that you can choose other fonts that live in your computer, but I decided that I'm going to use that varsity font, all right? So the letter that I'm going to use again is the R, because the word that I'm going to use is the word redeemed. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the R in here, and then it's going to appear in a very small size. So all we're going to do is just to enlarge it to the size that we want. That can be changed later on, so I'm going to make it big enough for me to be able to work on the digitizing. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep enlarging it, and I can always come out of create mode and check the sizing on the left, and that's what I'm doing right now. Even though, like I said before, you can change the size at the end when you're done with all the design. I think this size is pretty good to work with. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little bit smaller but wide. I'm gonna make it a little bit wider right there, and I think that looks pretty good for what I want to do. And at the end, if I change my mind, like I said, I can always change it. We're gonna go now to create mode. And guys, remember, this is just a template. This has no stitching whatsoever. I am using this just to allow me to digitize and use it as a guide. And then after I'm done, we're going to go ahead and delete this letter. But for now, this is going to help a lot because we're just going to use it for the design. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a font to write the word redeemed. And let me see if I think I have one in mind, but I always forget the name of it. So yeah, I have a lot of fonts. So I'm going to try to go very quickly here so that I can find it. Because like I say, I always forget the name of it. Let me see which one it was. I think it's that one right there. Let me check if it's that one. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to write the word right here. And I'm going to check to see if it's this one and if it's the one that I like. And I don't think that's the one that I like. I'm going to keep checking because that's not it. Definitely that's not it, guys. So let me keep checking. So I think it's this one right here. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one that I saw before that I like. So this is the font that I'm going to use, and I'm going to resize it to make sure that it fits on the side. And That is the proportion that I want that is gonna look good for the design, okay? So let's turn this baby around and resize. I wanna make sure that the font is gonna cover part of the letter R on that side. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, and also I'm going to make it wider because I wanna make sure that again is gonna be right there. So when it comes to this part, you're going to decide which way you want it. There's no particular way of doing it, the size or the way you want it to be looking, okay? So for me, this is looking pretty good right now. I think I'm covering the side of the R that I want, and I think this is the way I'm going to keep it. I want to make it a little bit wider so that I can get a bit of a chunk from the R. And yes. So definitely this is the side that I wanted, and all I'm gonna do right now is just move it around to make sure that it's centered on the side, and to make sure that both sides have the same amount of space so that I can do the other part, which is the digitizing. And yeah, I think this is the way it's gonna stay. And so now that I have the word the way I want it, the next step that I'm going to do is to start working with points. And that's the part that I'm going to be using to be tracing the letter, okay? So now we are ready. We're going to start tracing the letter all the way around, okay? All the way around. So let's go ahead and let me move this a little bit lower so I can have more space on the top to show you. Yeah. So before I start, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing with tracing with points. I'm going to be using the first straight line, and you can use the control key. You're going to click the control key and click left, and that's going to give you a straight line to trace around. Before I continue, let's go here and click this icon. It says draw with points, and that's going to allow me to start the digitizing process, all right? So other than the control key, you can also use the shift key, and you're going to do shift, and then you're going to click your mouse to the left click, and that also is going to give you a straight line. I prefer the control to press the control key on my keyboard and left click. Also, the third one is just freehand, and that's gonna be a curve, and we're gonna use that later on to draw around the word that I chose, which is redeem. Okay, that's gonna give you the ability to do curves. All right, so let's do the first control, which I'm using. Left click, another left click. I'm gonna go all the way down to the next corner. I'm gonna do a left click, and I'm gonna continue to do this all around the letter. Okay. I also wanted to clarify, guys, that I am not a digitizer. I am learning the same way you are, okay? So, yeah, so I'm going to continue doing this through the whole letter. When it comes to the next point coming up, the notch that you say on the R, that notch in there, I'm going to do the shift and click left on that sharp corner. And then the next one is going to be control left click. Also, if you make a mistake on one of the points, it lands where you don't want it, all you had to do is just click delete. And it will delete the point, and then you can start all over again, okay? I didn't like where that point landed, so I deleted it, and I placed it exactly where I want it, okay? And then I'm gonna continue all the way around. So now I'm getting closer to this part right here, and you're gonna make the last point, straight point, right before. You have to give it some space because remember, you're gonna be doing some satin stitch on those areas that we are digitizing, so you don't want it to be on top of the first letter. So you're gonna do the point right there, You decide depending on your design. That depends on the kind of font that you use. So I'm gonna stop right here, and from now on, I'm gonna use two freehand. I'm gonna do curves, no pressing of the shift or control. And you're gonna just do around, and then you're gonna go up. I'm gonna do shift right here, and then I'm gonna go back to freehand. So shift left click on right there on that curve. I'm gonna close the curve right there, and then I'm gonna go back to freehand. Left click, left click, left click, and I'm gonna repeat that all the way around those letters. Okay. If you make a mistake, like I said before, you just do delete and go back and correct it and keep going. All right. So I'm doing just left clicks, no pressing of control or shift. The only time that I'm doing the shift is when I want to do the sharp corner on the top, and it will give me that kind of curved effect. If you notice, I didn't like the way I did it right there. So what I did was that I deleted it and I started all over again. I didn't like that. I deleted it and then I start all over again. If you notice, I'm making sure to leave spaces away from the font, because once this becomes a satin stitch, you don't want that to be too thick and mess up the design of the font. All right, so now we're closing to the end. I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go up to the panel and I'm gonna click that icon that looks like an apple. That's gonna close it in. All right. So we have left the space on the R, the open space on the top. And for this, I'm going to be using the control key, left click, because it's kind of straight lines, no more curves in there. So I already clicked draw with points, and I'm going to be using the control on the keyboard and then left click. Another left click, and I'm going to continue doing the same thing all the way around. Same thing we did with the rest of the letter. I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna go ahead and click the icon on the top once I reach there to close the open space. Okay, so this is done right now, guys. So the next step now, because I already used that font that we use through font, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to delete that because we don't need it anymore. It's right that one right there. We're gonna go ahead and delete on my keyboard because we don't need it anymore. So now we are left with the design we just did, and it's looking pretty good, guys. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to move the word redeem to be the last in order. So I'm gonna right click to that word right there, and I'm going to pick last, move last. So it's gonna move the last. So the next step that we're gonna do right now is to convert this design that we digitize the R into stitches. Okay. I am in creative mode, and I'm gonna click this icon right here. This is gonna allow me to convert what we did into stitches, okay? If you notice, now it doesn't say line anymore, it says run. And that one became our placement stitch, all right? I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna have only one pass, single pass. I'm going to click this second icon, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm going to tie in the entry as well as the exit to make sure that the thread is not going to unravel. I'm going to change the color to a brighter color. And as you know, guys, we are supposed to assign a different color for every step of the applique design. And this is how you let the machine know when to stop for you to be able to change thread colors or to place the fabric down for a tack down. The thread color that I chose for this one is the yellow for the placement stitch, and I'm going to make sure that for the tack down, I use a complete different color, okay? So the next step is to create the applique material or tack down, and the border, which will be a satin border, okay? So in order for me to do this, all I have to do is to click here again, go to copy and paste. And if you notice, we created a second set of the same design, all right? So for this second set, we're gonna go ahead and do a bean stitch. This stitch is gonna be a stitch for the tack down, and this is gonna run for 3 passes. We're going to make sure to click the second icon to make sure that we're gonna tie it in the entry and out like we did before. And of course, we need to change the color because this is gonna become the tack down for the fabric. So we're gonna pick any random color. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just choose, I guess, this green right here. So at this point, we have the applique position, and now we just added an applique tack down on applique material. So we're gonna go ahead and click it a third time, and this time we are creating the border or the satin stitch. And here we got it, right? The third one. So if you notice, it says run right here, but we don't want to run, we want a satin stitch. So we are gonna click the icon that says satin border while we're still in creative mode, remember? And we got the satin border done. So we are following the same step that we did before. We're gonna go ahead and change the color because we will need to tell the embroidery machine to stop so we can switch the color of the thread. And then also we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we got the correct setting for the satin border. So I usually like to make my satin border a little bit wider. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take it all the way to maybe 4.5. And then we're gonna check it to make sure that it's gonna look good, okay? And to me, this looks pretty good, guys. I really like the positioning. I'm going to go ahead and increase the width of the satin stitch a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and take it up a little bit higher, like up to a 5, and see how it looks. And the 5 looks pretty good, so I really like it. So I'm gonna leave it at a 5. So the next thing for me to do is to do the same thing that I did for the other 2 parts. I'm gonna go ahead and go and tie it in and tie it out to make sure that it doesn't unravel. And the color is good. I'm gonna keep it like that for now. And yes, guys, everything is looking pretty nice. So if you look at the right panel, the word redeemed still up there. I prefer to embroider last. So I'm gonna right click, choose last, and it will place it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and play with the colors around to switch the colors of the font, the letter R, and the word redeemed. This is optional because you can do it once you get to the embroidery machine. But for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the colors. I'm gonna go ahead and choose a purple or violet color for the letter R. And then the word redeemed, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it for a pink color. And I'm pretty sure that once I get to the embroidery machine, I'm gonna switch it again. Yeah, probably, okay? Let me go ahead and go back and put it on the lighter purple. I think I like it better. Okay, so that's it, guys, when it comes to the colors. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Bible verse to the design. So I'm going to switch the fonts. I'm going to use just a basic font. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the right panel, the lower part of it, and I'm going to go ahead and type the Bible verse. First Peter 1, verses 18 and 19. So I'm gonna go ahead and click enter. And the font, I don't like that font. I thought I was gonna like it. So I'm gonna size it, but I think I'm gonna switch the font. I don't like it as much. So go ahead and look for another one. That's gonna look pretty good there, but I'm gonna go ahead and look for another font because I don't like that one. So let's go and look for one. It's not that one. It's gonna be this one right here. Yeah, that's better. That looks much better. Let's put it on the right place. It's a little bit too close to the R. We need to move it a little bit towards the right, and that will be great. Let me make it a little bit smaller, and we should be okay. Yep, that's the right place right there. And it's looking amazing. So guys, after working with the font of the phrase a little bit, this is a final look. So I'm gonna go ahead and gonna go up to the stitch simulator and run this to see how it's gonna look. We are going to start with the placement stitch, and after the placement we're gonna continue with the tack down of the fabric, right? So it's doing the tack down right now. And after we do the tack down and do all the trimming of the fabric, we're gonna go ahead and do the satin stitch. So it's working on the satin stitch right now. So this is basically the applique steps, right? For those who are new to embroidery. And once it's done with the satin, we're gonna go ahead and do the word redeemed. And after the word redeem, of course, we're gonna do the Bible verse in black. And that's it, guys. So our digitizing looks great. It came out amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and group it. And I'm gonna go ahead and meet you at the craft room. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start the embroidery process, but I'm not gonna go through the whole thing because you guys already know how to do applique. So I'm gonna show you this one that we did and another one that I also worked on, all right? So I am already working on this. It's doing the tack down and it's gonna continue doing the satin stitch, and that's why I placed a topper to get a better stitch quality. I am not going to explain the whole process because at this point, this is just a simple applique design. And if you want to learn more about applique, if you are new to embroidery, you can watch my videos that I have explaining all about appliques. You can go back to my library and you will see them over there, okay? So I'm going to continue with this, and at the end, I'm going to show another section where I embroidered a second shirt using my single needle embroidery machine, all right? So I'll see you at the end when the whole process is finished. This is finished, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. And in the meantime, you can watch a couple of views of the second one that I did using my single needle embroidery machine. So guys, back to the classroom. I'm going to show you both of the sweatshirts that I tried this on. First, I'm going to show you the one that we worked on. Guys, I am very happy with the result. It came out amazing. So this is the one that we were working on right here. And it looks amazing, right? I can't wait to wear it. It's going to be for me, okay? And yeah, so you see how easy it was to do. The second part, the embroidery part, is just applique design, nothing to it. If you know about embroidery, you know how to work with applique. And yeah, so it came out very, very nice. This is a large size Gildan shirt, cotton Gildan shirt. And I love the fabric that I chose for it. And it looks very nice, redeemed. All right. So yeah, a lot of people use this kind of design for sports, and they put the initial of the team name, and they name the team name here. A lot of people also use it for the name of a person. They put the initial of the name of the person and write the name of the person here. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this kind of technique. The most important, guys, is that we did digitize. We did a digitizing project. So, if you don't have Embrilliance Stitch Artis 1 and you want to work on these things, I would encourage you to get those sections of Embrilliance Essentials. Of course, you're going to start with the Embrilliance Essentials, and you can up to Stitch Artis 1. And if you feel like you want to go ahead, you can also go ahead and do Stitch Artis 2 and 3. Yeah, and that way you can do your own digitizing like we just did, right? So yeah, so this is the second one right here. And this one I decided to use the letter B of blessed, and then I did sequin. I used sequin fabric, but the same technique, nothing different. The only difference on this one is that instead of a regular cotton fabric, I did it with sequins. And yeah, so guys, isn't this nice? I am loving it. So guys, this is everything for now. If you have any question about the things that we just did on this tutorial, or if you want to specifically do anything of embroidery projects that you have not done before, just let me know down below. And if I know how to do it or how to work it, I will let you know how to do it. And also, I want to show you something that I'm working on. For those who follow me, you know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to turn around to the other table and show you what I've been working on. And yes, don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you. So if you have been following me, you know that I've been working on these mini quilts. They are a mini quilt wall hangings, and they have a different design for each month. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you the one for August. In case you're new to my channel, I'm going to give you a quick look right on the wall right there. That is the one for August right there. Okay, so now I completed, well, not completed, I'm almost completed the one for September. I just finished embroidering in the hoop each block, all right? So all I had left to do is just place them together, sewing them each piece together. And then once I do that, I had to add the backing to it, and then we're done. So this is the September one. So this is what I've been working on for those who have been following me when it comes to this kind of project. If you're interested in completing this kind of embroidery, when it comes to these month-to-month mini wall hangings, let me know down on the comments down below, and I will give you the link of the company that provide this kind of files, all right? So guys, yes, I think this is everything for now. Let me go back to the table. I just wanted to share that with you. Let me get the camera all the way up there again. Yeah, so when it comes to embroidery, this is it, guys. Tomorrow I'm gonna be taking a trip. We're gonna fly to Chicago for 3.5 days, my husband and I, because we're gonna be celebrating our wedding anniversary over there, 3 days in Chicago. And then from there, we're gonna fly out to Minneapolis to visit one of my daughters and my grandkids and my son-in-law. And we're gonna spend another 1.5 weeks over there. So I think I'm gonna complete another video for next week, even though I'm not going to be here in Maryland, but I'm going to go ahead and share another video with you guys while I'm on vacation, all right? So guys, this is everything for now. Don't forget to click the like button if you like this kind of content. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Jenny's Crafting Life, all right? So guys, I will see you soon. I will see you later. Bye. Hasta luego.